Okay, testing. 1, 2, testing. I'm gonna make sure that you can hear me loud and clear, people, before we start our show. Okay. That's good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Live. Once again, we've got a special event for you to chill out till. We have the trainer of the new IBF welterweight champion of the world. Errol Spence won the title last night, beating Kell Brook in 11 rounds. We have the trainer, the man behind Errol Spence, the man himself, Derrick James. Derrick, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Let's get you in the camera.
Okay.
Okay, Derrick, so let's talk about, obviously, being in the UK. What was it like coming to the UK? How did UK fans receive you?
Well, everybody's good, man. You know, it's like boxing is boxing. Fans are great. Everybody's been good. Nobody's been. I mean, a couple times people said some stuff, but that they were supposed to say that because they should be going for Kell Brook, and it's okay, you know. But even after the fight, everybody was back great, very gracious, very. Hey, he's a great fighter. It was a great fight, and that's really what everybody wanted to see. You want your man to win, but if he didn't, you want to put up a very gallant effort. That's what he did. Very gallant effort.
There's a lot of talk before the fight. I asked you a few times. The rumors, Broner, Mayweather, Porter, Charlo, the stories of the sparring sessions. I mean, you know, we have a thing in the UK where you say to the guy, "Oh, the sparring stories about this person happened and this happened in the gym." Oh, what's in the gym stays in the gym. Sparring rumors are not really true. It was only sparring. They could have just been practicing. It doesn't really mean that a fighter can actually fight.
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
Well, I think they saw what was real. I mean, like, I had no need to lie, no reason to lie. Like I said, Fleming would have had, how many sparring partners for 20 years as a professional? Never mentioned one of them except this one particular guy. If you think about all these other rumors, were they true? And people, oh, that's sparring and this and that. And, you know, people will say asinine things, but it's okay because they don't know. And people talk about how you can't box, you can't move. And they really thought Kell Brook was a boxer. He's really not. He can't fight going forward. He would take 1 or 2 steps forward and he would stop because he couldn't. The balance wasn't good enough. He wasn't, you know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, it's good, man. I'm okay with that.
So you've had Errol Spence since the amateurs, am I correct here?
Since the amateurs, he had been boxing for 3 years when I started training him.
Right.
So we started out his 4th year.
Okay. So the trip from being from the amateurs right through to now being a world champion.
Yeah. So
you've done it from the grassroots. What do you think it took for you and Spence to get to where you are today, in your opinion?
I think it took a lot of hard work, man. Well, no, I know it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of dedication. It took belief in me, belief in me that I was going to guide him and lead him in the right direction as a fighter. And, I mean, a lot of trust, obviously, because even in the fight, the corner, he asked me a couple of questions, you know, about this or about that, you know, and I would tell him, you know, and I mean, it was a good fight because he was hitting Kell with, everything, and Kell wouldn't break. He wasn't breaking, you know, I kept thinking, oh, man, this guy won't break. But you just keep chopping at it, right? You know, and that's basically what it was. A couple times you got those solid body shots in, and some his body just kind of cringe over. You say, okay, well, he's got it. But then he came back with a little, but at the end, his condition was better. Like I tell people, you fought heavyweights. You say, well, you're not fighting heavyweight, you're fighting Kell Brook. Or you're not this and you're not that. So, you know, the heavyweight that we sparred with is like 4-0. But we sparred with Jamel Charlo. But we brought the heavyweight over because he can do 14 rounds or more rounds. He's bigger, he's durable to take the punishment, take the punches, whatever. And the smaller guys can't. And the funny thing about it is, when Errol fought Floyd Mayweather, he had 4 fights. So hopefully this is the tell for the bigger guy, which he's kind of like Willie Kruger was from that
Yeah.
Like 200 pounds. So hopefully there's a big tell for him in his future that we can help give back and help push him forward also. So.
And there are a lot of subplots coming into this fight with Kell Brook.
Yeah.
The first thing was the weight.
Yeah.
Coming from middleweight back down to welterweight.
Yeah.
Errol Spence said, well, that's his problem, not my problem.
Right, yeah.
Nobody asked him to go up to middleweight. He's a welterweight champion. So
True, yeah, right.
Your thoughts?
I think that, it's not a big issue, man. As a fighter in the amateur, I won the U.S. championships and National Junior Olympics at heavyweight. I moved down to 165. So, that's like 201, 180 something. I lost 20 pounds. And I had to sustain it for the next 4 to 5 years. So, losing weight is part of the job. He did it. It was something quick. And he shouldn't have put that much muscle on, I think. But he did, and that's what it is, man. But I didn't have a problem with it because he signed the contract. I believed in him. I trusted him. I believed in him, and he did everything he said he was going to do. He made the weight.
Do you think that was a factor coming into the fight? People say, "Oh, well, Kell was weight drained. If he'd done the weight properly, he would have done the 12 rounds. He would have got stopped by Errol."
Well, to be honest, if he was drained, he wouldn't have made it that long. So it didn't matter about all the other stuff. Because people don't know how to lose weight. You're not a dietitian. You're not a professional boxing trainer. You're not a professional boxer. So these are these hypotheses from these guys and people who never had a boxing match or never had to lose weight or never had to function on a high level at any particular time of their life. So, uneducated guess, basically. I said hypothesis of educated guess, but when they talk about something they don't know anything about, a very uneducated guess, and that's what they're doing. And Kell didn't have a problem with it. He made the weight, didn't say anything, and everything was good. Had he been drained and starved, he would have been knocked out earlier.
So he was strong enough at the weight. So
you saw how strong.
Of course, he was strong
because Errol was hitting him very hard. I kept telling people Errol punches very hard. He punches very hard, and Kell punches hard, but Kell really wasn't landing a lot of shots. Errol said to it, he said, "Listen, he landed some shots, but he never hurt me, never buzzed me." He said, "I felt him, but I wasn't buzzed. I wasn't ever hurt." If he was hurt, he would say, "Yeah, I was hurt."
The Brook strategy. Much like once the Porter fight where there was holding, because Brook isn't the greatest fighter on the inside, but what he does do is use his physical strength, hold you up, break your rhythm, and then land shots on the break.
Yeah.
Not on the break illegally, but as you break, then he shot at you.
Which is illegal.
Well,
okay,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. So it didn't bother us, man. We prepared for that. We expected it. I wrestled with him. So this is the joke.
Mm-hmm.
That his whole deal is that he wants to wrestle and muscle with Errol, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he did it with Sean Porter, which his balance is not so great, so he's able to push him around and do whatever. Mm-hmm. We know how to. He wrestled with me. I'm 200 pounds, 215. He wrestled with the bigger guy sparring. So his game plan and strategy worked against him opposed to being for him, because Errol was able to wrestle him back and push him back, which I think he thought he was going to be so strong that his physical strength was going to be so overwhelming. If it's not all the way with Dominic Engel, that his boxing, man, it's not bodybuilding contest. I told him that in the initial press conference, but and I think he thought he was going to be too physically strong for him. But he wasn't, and he got tired. I wish there was a punch status on how many body shots Errol landed. Because he landed like, man.
It was rattling him off. I think what was happening a lot, where Brook was either throwing the jab or he was holding. As he was holding, Errol was holding with one hand and then body. Was that a strategy, or was that something that Errol was doing on the cuff?
It was part of what we do, man. It's like I told him when he holds you, I said, beat him up into the body with the free hand. Really, I won't say what I said. I'm pretty sure he probably broke his rib last night, to be honest. I mean, or he hit him in the body so much. I was like, keep beating him to the body when he's holding that free hand, hit him to the body. Just keep working, keep moving. And for a guy to wrap up and hold, his assumption was that he'd be so physically strong he could stop it. Mm-hmm. And they based so much off of their success with they had with Sean Porter, is that they're going to be able to do the exact same thing with him. And it was totally different, two different individuals.
The chocolate brownies.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy them?
Well, I didn't eat any, but people sent me. I was in restaurants, people sent them to me at my table. You know,
did it taste good?
Well, you know what? I didn't get to eat because I had left, but the people who were at the table, they said, man, the people came to where Derrick to eat left. Oh. But I did bump into that guy the next day, and he's like, you know, it's not funny, man. But you know, it is funny. Because if I drank milk, I would have ate the chocolate brownie. I was a milk drinker, I would eat the chocolate brownie. They didn't go right with one without the other. So I let it be. You know what I'm saying?
One of the fascinating factors in the fight for myself watching it was that could Spence actually take the power? Because nobody knew. Yeah. Nobody knew if Spence could really take that punch. Yeah. Because, as you know, there was a fight he was in, I think, I don't know what fight it was. Well, it was you know the fight I'm talking about. And they played it over and over and over, punch over and over again. You know.
Yeah. Well, and really, when he got hit with that punch, he was so in the zone that he was kind of like not thinking about what the other guy. I would say that you're not the only one throwing punches. And the guy just hit him with a lucky punch. He really caught him off guard. He didn't expect it.
Yeah.
So was he hurt? No.
But they played it over. It was a Brook fan, clearly. Yeah.
Well, listen, I think we made a lot of clips of that fight that we played over and over and over. And listen, you know what? This is the thing about was it fun. No, I'm serious though. All those punches he landed, because he landed a lot of shots. But his logo is man down. So if you go look at his logo, his motto is man down, and the guy is kneeled down, one knee on the ground, his hand touching the ground like that. It's exactly what he did
to Kell Brook.
Exactly. And so if you think about this, it's one thing to beat a guy up or knock a guy out. So, and I said to you before, maybe off the record, I said that if L doesn't knock him out early and it goes 12 rounds, he may hurt him or basically almost kill him, because he's going to hit him so much and so hard that he would not be able to box anymore. I'm telling you. So, what L did, think about those last 2 rounds, he beat him. It was merciless. I mean, because Kell stopped fighting back after really like the 9th round. Mm-hmm. He shot with the big flurries and whatever, because he only threw like 2 or 3 punches at that time. Mm-hmm. I said he would kill him. I'm serious. I'm not joking, because he had no defense, and L started hitting him, just bend over. I beat him to the body. I know he had to be like blood. And the joke was, people come up to me, what about those chocolate brownies? I said, the only chocolate brownies are going to be in Kell Brook underwear. and the truth of the matter is that, listen, man, I'm just telling you, I was like, you should not come in the ring with any food on your stomach. Not that night.
Yeah.
You cracking jokes. You being funny. I'm serious. So
some of the things you're saying is
I'm being honest though.
You're honest. It's honesty. It's brutal honesty.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, but it was what it was. Kell Brook was very tough, man, and he fought back as well as he possibly could. Like I said, Kell Brook is good, but he wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
And
was he special?
No, because he can't. Well, for one, he can't fight going forward. And people talked about how good of a fighter he was. All I did was make Errol. Like, if you notice, the first couple rounds, Kell could never get close to Errol. He would try to throw punches, but he could never get close. And he was the fighter who had to set up to try to land a shot, or the guy to stand right in front of him. And I just told Errol something to do this and do that. And that's how, in the beginning, he really couldn't land any shots, get clean shots on Errol. But when Errol threw shots, he didn't move. He just stood right there in front of him. Like, man, how you gonna keep taking those punches like that? And they say he was a better mover. He's gonna be able to move. You see, when Kell, towards the end of the fight, Kell would move over, Errol would cut him off. So what happens is, the more you cut him off, he's back in the corner, and that's what happened.
When I said in my preview to the fight, I said that the way Kell had to win the fight was to keep in the center of the ring and not allow Errol to take him to the ropes. Yeah. That was Kell's only chance of winning the fight, and landing the right hand and keeping and be able to hurt Spence and keep Spence in the center of the ring. I said once Spence started using the jab and pushing Kell's back against the ropes, Kell defensively with back against the ropes is non-existent, no defense, and that's where Spence would win the fight.
Well, true, but you know what? He only had one punch to throw, so he didn't even. He threw the right hand aggressive sometimes, but normally he would just push it through the middle.
Yep. But also more hesitancy of anything.
Yeah, I mean, he was very. Oh, you said Kell or Errol?
Kell.
Oh, he was very hesitant because Errol was counterpunching him initially, and he saw it coming, so he was smart enough to say, okay, he's going to counterpunch. So he basically kind of took the right hand out of play. And in the videos, we knew he only throws 3 punches or 4 punches. You can't beat a guy like Errol Spence with just 4 punches. He throws a jab, he throws the right hand, he throws like a hook every now and then, and he throws the uppercut, which he was doing the uppercuts. Not many, and I don't think he landed any for sure. He would shoot. He would shoot the right hand over to the side, which didn't have any power on it because the body's going this way, so the power's going to go where the body goes. So he's stepping over there and shooting a shot, and he would land that every now and then. But he's a tough guy. He's a tough customer because he showed up until a certain point what kind of guy he was, which is he was able to take the abuse, take those shots, man. But when he started landing those hard shots from the body up to the head, it had no defense. And I heard that they said that they were in like one of those 10th round, like, come on, Kell, just give us one more round. So he's ready to get out of there. And I think they said his girlfriend was the one that came up and said, you can't do this. And she was kind of like wanting to stop the fight, or his wife, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it was going to get very ugly.
The Golovkin fight. How much did that play a part in this fight, or is that taking steam off of Errol's performance?
Well, it had nothing. That was like a year ago, or close to a year ago. I mean, it had nothing. I mean, come on, man. Listen. You have 9 months off, 8 months off, and that affected you. Now this fight, you see, the Golovkin fight was only 5 rounds. Golovkin didn't land that many punches on him. Even on the inside, if you watch it, Golovkin timing was off, so he missed a lot of shots on the inside. But
this fight now,
Errol didn't miss it. He threw he landed like 600 something punches or something. I mean, he was on it, man. I mean, he was on it, man. And this is the thing about it. We sparred, before we left Dallas, he sparred 19 rounds. So 19 rounds, 3-minute rounds, 30-second break, right? So we came to the UK, and the clock that Kell had was a 3-minute round with a 1-minute break. But we do 30-second break, and they couldn't adjust the clock. So what did they do in turn? They did a 3-minute and 30-second round. So you've been going. Think about the conditioning level of those 2 guys, the heavyweight, the cruiserweight guy too, to add on 30 seconds to each round and do 14 rounds.
Wow. So
they still got the 30-second break, but they added on to make it even. They went 30 seconds more. So so you see how he was in the 11th round. He threw more punches in the 11th round than he doing the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th combined.
Seems to move through the gears. From round 6, he seems to move to another gear. I mean, that was one of the things I was thinking. Okay, Spence is fighting his way for 6 rounds. Is there anything more to this guy, or is he just going to fight the same pace all the time? And from round 6, he seemed to step it up. And there was one point where I thought he just kind of put his hands up and says, "Right, I'm just going to walk you down now."
Yeah, that's what we
started walking him. Paul started walking Brook back to the ropes.
I told him, he said, I said, start walking down. Work behind the jab and just walk him down. You can kind of see he started losing his confidence. He started to question himself a little bit, and he from Errol's defense is very good. I could see he was getting frustrated where he couldn't land those shots very flush, so he kind of stopped throwing them. And he was just throwing like every now and then. Because think about it, some of those rounds, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, there were punches where Errol was just throwing punches nonstop, but really just constantly. And Kell didn't throw any punches, and then he would throw a little rally at the end of the round. For like 3 or 4 punch rally, and he was not, see, what they don't understand is that he's jumping into the punch. So the punch is not hard, but the body impact, he's jumping off the ground into the punch.
Into shots.
Into the shots.
So it's double impact.
Oh, yeah, double impact. So he's pushing Errol off balance, not hurting him, not really landing the shot, but his whole body jumping. But when Errol would throw those shots, he just kept going to the body, kept going to the body. I mean, and that eventually broke him down.
Let's talk a little bit about Sheffield. Let's talk about the Sheffield Boxing Centre.
Yeah.
And clean roads and the lovely people up there at the gym. Yeah. Talk to me about the experience of training in Sheffield with Errol and what they were like with you.
It's been good, man. The people love him. You know, this is like this. He, as Sam Watson said, he's a people's champion. Those people love him. And what's funny is that being there, Lynn was great. He brought us in the gym and
shout out to Glenn Rhodes.
Shout out to Glenn Rhodes, right. He treated us like we were like a Briton. You know, somebody said that he's not going to show a difference because he's a guy from another country. And they were very nice with that, and they treated us very well. And going to the press conference, not press conference, but the open workout.
Yes.
Go out and
that
was Spence. Just get some boos. They call him up to the ring. Boo, boo, boo. Right, we put the gloves on and start hitting the mitts. And everybody got dead quiet. Because the punch is so hard. Pow, 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 pow. I mean, my shoulders I had to keep stopping, work my shoulders. My hands are pow, pow. And so when we finished, we took the gloves off, people still quiet. And he just started saying, Spence. And wanted to take pictures with him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
so it's serious business.
They said that this guy is for real. Now, whether or not, and then when we get to the weigh-in, and Eddie Hearn, it was an older guy, maybe his father. I guess I don't know who it was. I never seen the father before. And
Barry Hearn, with his father.
And he was standing next to him. And he said, they said to us, we're getting on scale. Welcome to the big leagues. I said, what? He said, welcome to the big leagues, and got more aggressive with it. I said, man, the guy played in the minor leagues for 20 years. You for real? This means he fought nondescript opponents for 35 fights. Well, I'll say JoJo Dan and Kevin Bizier. I'll give them, they won't, should I say, 33 fights for nondescript fighters. Right?
Well, Frankie Gavin.
Well, yeah, Frankie Gavin's pretty decent too, I guess. So 32 fights. Yeah, 32 fights.
Matthew Hutton?
32 fights. Look at me again. 32 fights. Okay. So 32 fights.
Okay.
Nondescript opposition. Was not to say. And I think that he had good fights with those other guys. Matthew had. He had a good fight with Kevin Bizier.
Senchenko.
32 fights. All right.
Okay, 32 fights.
So, Senchenko was a little bit past his prime, his abilities. And, it's hard to train when you have a coach that's a comedian. Coach is a comedian. He's cracking jokes, and he admits, I'm a comedian. I talk better than I can fight. And he says, belittle Errol about being an American Olympian. Guy never had a fight before. Never had a fight before. So that said, you belittle or demean every British fighter who ever went to the Olympic Games, who were man enough to step in the ring and fight and make the Olympic team, because it's not easy.
No, absolutely not.
And so, and he says to him, if you go to the Olympics and you don't win a medal, well, you know, the irony of this whole big picture, think about this. You tease a guy for not being an Olympic gold medalist.
Right.
But while he was in the Olympics, he was robbed twice. It's a known fact. They put him back in with the Indian guy. They put him back with the Russian guy. They robbed him again. Okay. So think about this. You tease him for not medaling, like getting the medal.
Yeah.
You never fought before. Now we come back to Great Britain, and what do we leave with?
The IBF belt, which is their belt, which was their belt.
And better than that gold medal right now from this point on. So it's ironic. You tease a guy for not getting something, and he took what you had. So think about that. We have a saying in this little. I grew up early in my life in projects, right? And they said the same thing: make you laugh, make you cry. So he was sitting up laughing, cracking jokes, doing this comedy stand-up bit, and the same thing you laugh about will be the same thing you cry about. Right? Exact same thing.
Let's talk about this kind of thing between yourself and Dominic Ingle.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing, man. I don't play with people like that. I will never come at anybody disrespectful. I didn't come at them disrespectful. Remember, I talked about the guy's record. That's because we're talking about boxing. Stop talking about Triple G. I'm talking about your record. And these are facts. Even when I say never boxed before, that's a fact. It's a fact. You know.
Why do you think he took issue with you?
Hey, man, he told me, well, the first day he said he could beat me up.
He did say that.
But then he finished out and said, but he's better looking than me.
This Dominic Ingle.
Yeah, just go back and listen to the interview. But he's better looking than I am. He looks like he's an accountant.
Is that you?
Yeah. Press conference. And we were talking about how many times Pacquiao knocked down
Algeria.
Well, I stopped counting after 3. He's doing this stand-up bit, you know.
Yeah. It didn't help at the end, did it?
Well, I mean, listen, man. All it did was listen. This is where the telltale point. I started thinking to myself, he's gonna get this guy killed in the ring. Because Errol is very he can punch. He knows how to punch correctly. He's gonna get this guy hurt. And he said, he was talking in the press conference, and then Errol patted him on the arm and said, "No, don't worry about it. Don't say nothing." And that let me know right there.
He's gonna.
It's
a wrap.
He said, "Listen, Dominic Ingle was talking. He patted me on the arm and said, no." And so for the remainder of the press conference, you notice I sat back and we just said, "What we saying?" Just quiet. I took his cue because I knew what that meant.
Licks.
Yeah. I took his cue. I was like, okay, it's good.
So, as a trainer, what do you think of Dominic Ingle's setup? Because they had a bit of thing behind the ropes. You saw him on the pads and saying how Spence was only moving straight lines and all this stuff. What did you pick up from that when you were watching that?
Well, I think that that's what he saw. I mean, every fight he saw. I mean, you have to listen to some interviews, and Errol did an interview. He said that I know I've been kind of boring and lazy in my fights, is what he said. As to say, I haven't done everything that I can do. I haven't shown all my skills because I haven't had to. Mm-hmm. And even in this fight, he showed a lot, but he has a lot more. Even he didn't give himself an A+. He said I was like a B. He said I was off for so long. Had to have a fight. I was a little rusty, so I give myself a B.
What do you think of the comparisons of Errol Spence and Jeff Lacey?
Who?
Errol Spence and Jeff Lacey.
Who? Listen. I think that was you know, this was funny. I have a friend who came up with us and he went out with us. And kind of hung out with a couple people from Britain. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, he said that he was trying to understand why would the British people a certain way. Mm-hmm. He said that I think it's because they do something or they think they're doing more than what they're really doing.
Right.
Without kind of like living like you kind of like not acknowledging what's going on, and you live in like you think something is more than what it is. And I think that's kind of what it was with Kell Brook. He was a good fighter. He wasn't Jesus reincarnated in the boxing ring. He was a good fighter, but he's been honest.
But there's a tendency for boxing fanatics to make a fighter better than they actually are and do things that they just don't do. Like, for example, talking about guys like Brook, never knocked anybody out of world class.
Yeah.
But suddenly he's going to come out and just blow away Spence in a couple of rounds.
But it's very, you can do that to a guy who is a hype job. You can do that to a guy that you tell yourself over and over. He's like Jeff Lacey. Well, Jeff Lacey was a world champion. Jeff Lacey was an Olympian. So he was a good fighter, but Kawasaki was better. Say that. Don't say he was a hype job. That's Kawasaki was better. Kawasaki beat Bernard Hopkins. Kawasaki beat Roy Jones. So Kawasaki was better. Don't say that. Don't diminish the guy Jeff Lacey for not being a great fighter when this guy was just better.
What do you think it is about when guys come to the UK, Americans come to the UK, and they want to use that Jeff Lacey kind of like tag on a fighter instead of giving that guy the props they deserve?
Well, they'll learn now. And, you know, so people say, and this is what is the most asinine and funniest thing about the whole fight, that they kept saying about the 27,000 people in the stadium, they're going to spook us. Like, are you for real? When those fans start to get going, they're going to, that's what they're like.
The fans can't fight for them.
And I said, fans are not throwing one punch. And I said, I'm getting them. So when we were walking out in the ring and they were throwing chocolate brownies at Errol.
Chocolate brownies?
Listen.
This is real.
They were throwing chocolate brownies at me. Yeah. But then, so it was okay. So we get to the ring, and while they yelling all this stuff, I just put out my American flag and start waving. And to say, yeah, you know, I'm surprised I didn't get spit on or something. I don't know. But I thought I would. But yeah.
On the point of the American flag, there have been well-known American fighters and trainers that weren't so sure about Spence's ability to beat Brook. How do you feel as an American in the media reading of other American fighters, promoters, managers, trainers not supporting their own American fighter, which would be considered in America being very un-American?
Well, you know how I feel about that. You know, I feel that, you know, one, they don't know, and they have no idea. The two guys who I heard, though, Dan Birmingham said something which he trained Thurman, and Abel Sanchez said something. Two guys that never boxed before. But it's not about them never being boxers, you know, but they said what they said, and that's okay. And, you know, Abel Sanchez,
Tell me.
If Canelo beats
Triple G,
we won't hear from him again. Just like if Ward beat Kovalev, we won't hear from that guy again. Right? And, you know, so when Errol Spence beat Keith Thurman, we won't hear from that guy again.
Abel Sanchez said that you're rushing Spence's career.
In 5 fights, think about this. I'm gonna cut you off. You know. So
there we go.
So what were 5 fights? 5 fights is 2 more years. But he has the think about this. Errol Spence is not ready for Kell Brook, but he had the number 2 ready contender in Constantine Panamara, and they wouldn't fight Errol Spence. So hell, he was good enough for your guy not to fight him, but he's not good enough to fight the world champion. So what's the point of the whole rating system? To work your way up to number 1. That's the whole goal. the thing about it is there is this thing about building fighters and developing fighters. So Errol Spence was developed. Al Heyman had a strategic plan. He fought the right opposition to show what we had at the particular time. It was up to me to work with the boxing to make his time and show everything work on the boxing aspect. Al Heyman did the business to build them and develop them. A lot of fighters are built, right? So they just get fights and get fights. Nondescript opposition. So they don't learn anything from that. The trainer's not teaching them much, so they're not being developed mentally, physically, and they're not getting the boxing knowledge that they need. Errol Spence was developed. That's why at 21 fights, he was prepared for a guy with close to 40 fights.
So would you say that Brook was built or developed?
He was built, but through that building, he was able to develop or enhance some of the skills that he had, right? But in certain areas of it also, there was shallowness, right? Because he only threw 3 or 4 punches.
So let me ask you, if Brook was an American fighter,
we wouldn't know who he was. You can't fight anybody in America with 185 losses. You can get 10 people, you got 20 people, right, with 25 or 30 losses. They monitor that. They don't listen. I went to a fight the other day. I'm showing up at the fight to support this one guy. The commission comes, hey, this is Derrick, how you doing? Nice to meet you. He said, so just put his name on the paper. What, for what? He's like, so you work my corner? No, hold on, man. You don't have to fill out any paperwork. You don't have to pay any sanctioning fee. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, and they don't have chairs in the corner. It's like, what is this about? Like very loose. So I can see how a guy can fight people with 185 losses.
So wait, you're telling me that you turn up to a boxing bout
as a spectator.
As a spectator.
And I worked the corner.
And you worked the corner?
Yeah. I'm just telling you, I worked the corner, man. No paperwork, no. What Elliot said, just put his name on the paper. Who's working the corner? Yeah.
Is it because of the fact that you're working with Errol Spence and you've worked with Charlo? Maybe that's why it wasn't.
No. Because if that be the case, we would have chairs in it. I'm sitting back and I'm like in the corner, getting ready to go in the ring. I said, so where are the chairs for us to sit down in the corner? He's like, what chairs? And I'm with the guy who was Ricky Hatton trainer. What's the name of my man? The young guy, Ricky Hatton's old trainer.
Which one? Billy Graham?
No, man. It's a young
Lee Beard.
Lee Beard, yeah.
Yes.
So, but Lee didn't tell me that was the other guy, so his assistant.
Right.
I said, what are the chairs? He said, well, really, we just kind of lean on the apron. What the hell? It's like sparring in the gym. Like maybe at the gym, everybody. I said, man, it's crazy. I said, no, what? And I sat next to the officials in the front row.
Yep.
Watching the fight.
I don't know.
So it's kind of loose, but I mean, I think Kell Brook, like I said, he was a good fighter. Within that being built, he was able to grow and learn some things.
Okay.
And become a big, he was bigger than everybody. So when you bigger and stronger than most people, you beat him, and he was able to beat him.
Let's talk about the future. Where does Spence now fit? Because the story is Al Heyman will push for Spence to fight Thurman.
Well, it's something that's already been understood, supposedly. I don't know. I'm just a trainer, man. I don't get into that. I want Errol.
There are some trainers that do get into that.
Well, listen, that's them. I want my guy to fight who he wants to fight. I have no idea who he should fight, or we want to go do this, and I'm not. I mean, it's not my career. This is his career. It's his job, not mine. So what I'm saying is, if I want to fight who he wants to fight.
Would you advise him to fight Thurman next, or would you say let's enjoy?
Well, he can't fight Thurman next because we'll be out for another year. I mean, he's injured, had a surgery or something.
Yeah.
So even if you look at people talk about me like I was crazy because I never had seen Kell Brook fight. I'm not into boxing like that.
Right.
I watch some big fights.
Right.
I watch some smaller fights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna just watch a guy just to watch him, you know. I didn't watch Kell Brook fight until after we came from here, did a press conference. That's when I started watching it. And that's when I knew it was real. Why would I waste my time watching a guy that is not even real? So when it was real, I started watching him.
So how long were you preparing for Brook beforehand? I mean, was it when the fight was signed, sealed, and done, or was it a case of, well, we know these guys, we're going to fight this guy?
Well, I think that we started training for Kell Brook in freaking 2009. I mean, we started training for everybody. So it was any and everybody. It wasn't just this guy in particular. And it wasn't the fact that Errol Spence wanted to fight Kell Brook. He wanted to fight for the championship.
Right.
And just what happened, Kell Brook was the champion.
Okay.
And he had the title, which we got it. We took it the right way, the old-fashioned way. And that's the key to it.
Okay. Let's talk about training, philosophies. You see a lot of fights, a lot of trainers doing a lot of pad work, and all that stuff. What are your thoughts on that? I've spoken to James Adebishe. He thinks it's all very aerobic, but doesn't really prove anything. A guy being flashy on pads doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
When I look at it, people are entitled to be inspired by everything.
Right.
Like you get inspiration from everywhere, right? So obviously they're getting inspiration from seeing somebody else do that. For me, I go from the more realistic point of view of as a fighter, life is not that fast. I'm a practicing Buddhist, right?
Right.
So I train like a Buddhist lives, right? So I train in the moment.
Right.
So the Buddhist idea is to be in the moment every step. Not to be walk so fast that you don't enjoy this moment, or you can't slip a punch. You're thinking so far ahead of yourself. So you have to be within the moment, right here, right now. So I work with Errol on his reaction time. I work with him on like his punches are like heartbeats, right? So you don't throw it 4 or 5. Like I said before, we don't throw combinations. We do not throw combinations. I do not practice on more than 2 punches at a time. Because the reason why I don't do that is because, for one, how many you see people throw 4, 5, 6 punch combinations? How many of the best fighters in the world do you see land more than 3, 4 punches at a time? Really, more than 2 punches at a time. The guy has to be really hurt for him to do it.
Yes.
But if a guy is fresh, it doesn't happen, right? So why would you practice something that's not practical, that's not real? For one. Secondly, if I throw 1 punch, I can react and block and use defense. If I throw 2 punches, I can react and throw defense. If I throw 3 punches, that's a preconditioned idea that I'm going to throw 3 punches and land, right?
Right.
So what if the guy steps back and I miss him, and bam, he hits me because I have an idea of what I want to do.
It's a preconceived, premeditated idea.
That's right. But for me, as a Buddhist, my idea is to be like water. And I say that if you throw water on the wall, water, its goal is to get to the bottom.
Yes.
Right? 'Cause it's going to run down. And what it's going to do is react to every aspect, every nook, cranny, heel on the wall.
Yes.
Bump, whatever. But if there's something that stops that water, the flow is so strong, what it will do? Run right over it. So the water idea is to continue. It will adjust and adapt. But if it can't adjust and adapt to it, it'll run right over it. So if you think about that as a fighter, to be able to shoot the shots, see what he's doing at the same time, but to throw a combination is too much of a commitment.
Okay. So you're working with now Charlo as well. How does that, you've worked with Spence and then working with Charlo, 2 different personalities, 2 different types of characters. How do you adjust your philosophies to meet that of the fighter, or do you just keep those philosophies?
I don't adjust, man. I mean, I'm just who I am. You know what I'm saying?
You're like water.
I'm like water. I'm not trying to be their best friends. I'm gonna tell them the truth. I'm gonna tell them, what I feel about a situation.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with them because I think that for me, my boxing coach is like My whole life, probably one of the closest people in the world. Because I think that's a very close relationship you have to have. You have to trust this guy.
Right.
And you're trusting him with your life. So a boxing coach, say hypothetically, doesn't have experience, he's lying to the guy. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to train you and get you right.
Right.
I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you're going to be right because you're going to win. Okay. So, and I don't want to be the guy that lies to the guy. So I'm honest with him at every point, every part of it.
People are watching this at the moment and they're thinking about getting a trainer or want to decide what to look for in a trainer. Tell me the difference between a celebrity trainer and a trainer of real substance. What's the difference? And you, when I say celebrity, you know what I mean by that.
Well, I kind of don't, but what I'll say is that, you know,
but you know who the celebrity trainers are.
Well, yeah. The ones that Radio Raheem will interview. Damn sure. Those are the celebrities, the ones that Radio Raheem interview. Now you talking about some substance. So you know, yeah, but no, I don't know, man. No. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like this. I can't tell you what is the best guy for you, right? Mm-hmm. And what to look for. Just like I can't give a boxer advice. Mm-hmm. I cannot, because I don't know what he can and can't do. I can just, well, you should be doing this. I'm not that great. I'm just a regular guy who is in tune to what my guys can do. Right. Right. So that's my job. I jog, I work out. I'm thinking about my guys. I have 3 guys. I don't want 99 different guys making $20 million a year, which sounds crazy about the money part, but you get all those guys that are going to make a lot of money, but nobody's going to be good because everything's going to be watered down.
And that's what a trainer said to me when I was in the States. He said, I'd rather have 5 guys. Yeah. I better to give them my attention.
My heart is not big enough to give all this love and affection and ideals and all this to 20 guys.
Is it possible?
Possible for what?
To do that.
I don't want that. I mean,
for you personally, no. But is it possible for a trainer to do that?
Man, people can do what they want to do. I mean, like I said,
well, they can do what they want to do.
But think about this. You asked me, I said, I don't want a lot of my guys. And I think if you think you can do that for everybody, they lie. Because you can't give them everything they need. People need certain things, man. Like certain fighters, you learn what they need and what their desires are. And they may not say them, but it's up to you to see them by the reaction that they get. And, you know, it's like, I kind of like, you know, you kind of see what you guys need and their desires.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Charlo. His great win.
Yeah.
Beautiful knockout.
Yeah.
Brutal.
That's the game, man. You know, listen. They say, you know, if you're in a game, either you playing a game or you're getting played.
His opponent had a lot to say before the fight.
He had a lot to say after the fight too.
Didn't he hear what he said after the fight? What did he say after the fight?
The first thing he said some very, you know, he said some stuff to him. You know.
Really? Even though he got knocked out?
Yeah.
Well, I would have thought after you got knocked out, you're like, okay, I'll take my beating and keep quiet.
I don't know, man. People are different. You know what I mean? But yeah, Charlo, man, he did everything I asked him to do. I mean, he did everything I asked him to do, point blank. I mean, that from even when he was hitting him with those shots at the end, he started turning it. Mm-hmm. And turning right into it. I mean, it was just like, I mean, it was perfect.
What would be the next? What would be the plans next for you in terms of what you'd like to see with Charlo? Are you guys looking to go to become undisputed champions, or are you looking just to maybe just keep defending the belts? Where's your mindset with this at the moment?
I have no ideas. I have no mindset about it. Remember, I want what he wants, so I'm gonna follow his lead because I work for him. I'm not putting any ideas in. Hey man, you should be fighting. I don't know. When you fight the guy, we'll be ready for
So
him.
where does that philosophy? I mean, I know you talked about being a Buddhist. I mean,
I was a fighter before.
Of course.
I've had my career. I'm done with that.
So did your trainer say to you, I think you should fight this guy next one? Did your trainer say that?
I mean, I don't know if he did that, but I'm just saying I can't interject my feelings about who I think my guy should or shouldn't be fighting. I can't, because this is his career.
So
I'm just helping him.
So where do you cut the line where you are a fan and a trainer, and you're a trainer and a fan of boxing? Where does that line cut for Derrick James?
Well, I'm not a fan of Errol Spence, Jamel Charlo, and Robert Brand. I'm not a fan of theirs because fans they can't see the flaws. I'm not going to be there applauding and patting them on the back. If you saw the Between the Ropes, right?
Yeah.
And Errol said, when I started training, he said, "Man, what am I doing right? Because you keep telling me I'm doing something wrong. The whole world, the fans are going to tell you everything you're doing right. It's my job to see what you do wrong."
Okay. I hear trainers say to me, "Yeah, I'm a fan of the sport of boxing. I'd love to see this fight and that fight."
I don't really care because my heart is only big enough for certain things, man.
Okay.
So I'm going to the fight,
yes,
right? But I don't care who wins it. That's up to them. Because remember, I can't interject myself, my feelings into my fighters' careers. I can't interject my feelings into other people's fights.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm just, to be a true fan is to not interject yourself into. And I mean, it's up to them, man. I can't say I want. This is what really changed me. Okay, so I was a boxer, and the last couple of fights of my career, I promoted them.
Right.
So I would go to the gym, like friends in Dallas, and say, "Man, I'm gonna put my friends on the card. This guy." Yeah. So I would go to the gym and check on this guy, right? And the guy wouldn't be at the gym. I kind of get upset. I mean, where you at, man? You got a fight coming up, whatever, right? Then you realize, you sit back and look at it and say, "Listen, you can't want something more than somebody else wants."
It.
So what happens is, I can't want Canelo and Triple G to fight more than they want to fight each other. I can't want Canelo to win more than he want to win. So you sit back and say, "Hey, I'm just going to sit here and just enjoy it."
Okay. Got another guy fighting for the world title, I believe, shortly.
Robert Grant, yeah.
Tell us about him.
Hey man, he's a good middleweight. He was a great amateur, won national golden gloves in America, won the U.S. championship in America. I think that he's from Minnesota, which I love that because people from the Midwest, they really don't think in that area. They really don't think of great fighters. But Rob he's gradually developing and getting better. He's sparring with Errol Spence. He's sparring with Jamel Charlo. So these guys working together help each other. And you see what happened with the fight with Jamel and Charles Hadley.
Yes.
How sharp and how crisp he was.
Yep.
You see Errol fight last night, how rough and how rigid he was. To where he can fight on the inside or the outside. The thing about this, he started boxing at one point in the fight. I said, "Listen, when you're on the inside, you beating him up or doing whatever you're doing early in the rounds, if you don't want to mix it up, start boxing." Because, see, it's hard to make a transition from boxing and fighting.
Right.
Boxing and fighting. So that's a hard transition to make. But Errol made it easy because Kell couldn't make the transition in the fight.
But that's the difference between a good fight and a great fighter, correct?
That's the difference between a trainer making you make the transition without even knowing it, opposed to you doing it yourself. So I know I had a problem with sometimes in the gym, I would throw body shots and make the transition, start fighting up top. It was a different feeling from that. And you had to go from here, then go here. So my goal and my thoughts is that you make them exert themselves in another way, you make them come back up and box. So I made them do the transition without them even knowing it.
Okay.
So when I would tell them to, start boxing now, it wasn't like I told them, okay, listen, I said, you win in the first parts of the round really easy. But a couple of times they'll still a little stuff in. If you don't want to mix it up, box. Just don't relax and just let it know. Just step around, move. He can't fight going forward. He's gonna throw 1 or 2 punches and he stops, he has to reset again.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So and that was his issue. So we say control the distance and the range. He doesn't step with his punches. He jumps in. So you see the difference. So and that's really what the difference was. You make them unconsciously react to something, right? And then you may consciously kind of tell them to do something, but they already know how to do it because you did it to them unconsciously.
Right, I'm going to open the floor up. See, we've got people in the room, quite a few people in the room. Good evening to people watching us from around the world. Hi. For those of you who don't know and just tuning in, this is Derrick James, the trainer of the new IBF welterweight champion of the world. Okay, you're going to open the floor up. We've got loads of people in the room, so I'm sure they've got lots of questions for us to answer, for you to answer, Derrick. What do you think of Kell's counter jab?
Well, you know, what I think about it is that it's not about the jab, it's what he does after he throws the jab.
Right.
There's two things.
Yeah.
He throws the jab and he doesn't throw the jab here. He throws the jab and he comes here. And he does this, and so he does this, does that. So he's not throwing the jab here, right, or here. So what happens is you can time it, or you can do something else because he's dropping first and coming up, and he pulls back. So his defense is pulling back.
It's all the reflexes.
So, right, but if you know you anticipate that because you watch it. Watch the habits. So what you do with the jab is you just step a little bit more. Shuffle, chop. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and what happens is that you time it. And
you position to.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah,
that's
and
right. Then you can cross as well.
That's right, because he does this. He doesn't do this, snap it back. He throws it and drops it.
That's it. So,
like I said, remember, and he boxes too high up.
Upright.
So he instead of boxing like something was, if I'm boxing like this, I can just throw punches like this. 3 punches at a time, basically all you can get out of that position.
Yeah.
But if you're here, you can box low, move, step, whatever. But he boxes too high up.
Chin in the air.
That's right. So what happens is, that's why when they go on the inside, and Errol so hitting boom, boom. So he'll be here and be punching up, boom. Because I said he's standing straight up.
He's that's
right.
All the time.
So yeah, man.
What's a good tune-up fight for Errol while Thurman recovers?
I can answer that question.
Of course. Let's see. He wanted to stay in the UK to rub some salt in the wound.
Who did?
You.
No, I didn't. I was gonna go to Paris, man. I mean, listen, life is about having humility, right? Winning is enough. So being here, I'm not talking to anybody but him. I'm not out in the street with my Errol Spence shirt on. I wore this. I mean, even the day of the fight, I had on a shirt from the boxing gym that I train at, like on boxing. That's the shirt I had on. So I didn't even want to be like, oh no, man, it's not about, well, come on, man. Winning is enough.
Okay. AXIMO says, congrats, love you giving back your boxing knowledge and nurturing such a humble and brilliant talent, Errol Spence. Shout out to Kell Brook. Hold your head out. Proud, dude.
Yeah, he fought, man. I mean, listen, he fought harder than any other fighter that I've seen. Not in like Errol's division. Yeah. He fought the fighter.
What do you think of people saying he quit? He's a quitter.
Well,
is that harsh?
No, it's not. But at the same time, because people's perception of the situation, what it is, right? I think that so do you think he should keep fighting? He would have ended up in some sort of
bad situation.
I mean, he was taking punches, hard punches. If you go back and watch the last, Errol was taking punches.
He was. I mean, I'm seeing like 4 or 5 punches at one point.
Yeah.
It was just cowering away
because he had no defense, he had no recourse, he had no, So what happens is, so what do you suggest he do? I mean, I don't suggest quitting, but everything goes back to in your life, man. We have a good life, it's an easy life. I think that you don't cover every base, man. And you getting the bigger guy, beating up guys, that's one thing, but one day somebody else is gonna come back and punch at you, and you got to be the guy that fights him back. And if you can't do that,
Brook needs to stay at 147. If he goes to 154, the Charles will body him.
Yeah. He's too small for the weight.
You talked about Dominic Ingle and you maybe part 2. Maybe if he moves up to,
he still will see me with Jamel Charles. But he would have to get up there because he at this point he's just another. He'd be another 150. The weight is not a problem. He's not big enough for those guys.
Is he not big enough?
He's not. Jamel Charles is extremely fast, extremely athletic. So he would be too big for him. You wouldn't muscle him around like that.
All this talk about Brook being a big guy.
Man, he's 5'8.5", man. Jamel Charles 6'1". 6 feet tall. They're big guys. I mean, you can't be a big guy with a 6 to 8 inch reach.
Because some people say, of course he quit. Panto, man, FTW say easy for spectators to judge. People are really getting into it now about the whole thing about him quitting. It's called quitting. He could fight someone like Smith or Lara at 154. Boxing is a business. One hitter quitter. Charlo, Hurd, Andrade, Lara, Lubin all beat Brook.
True. I don't know about Hurd, but
I suggested that Brook actually moved up, swerved Spence, and gone fight Hurd at 154.
Probably you could have did that. You could have probably won the title. It would have been a good fight, but I don't.
Two-weight world champion.
I only seen her fight twice, 2 times or whatever. So,
I wasn't impressed with Tony Harrison. I wasn't impressed with that. I didn't like the fact she knocked Harrison. I actually liked Harrison, but neither here nor there. Derrick James, God bless you. Somebody's saying. Derrick, did you notice that Kell dips right when he's in trouble?
Can't get away.
Don't know what to do.
I mean, I look at it like this: that you have to be able to prepare for every situation that possibly would arise in boxing. Having to block punches, having to have defense is a problem. Pulling back is not enough. That's like pulling back and pulling out. Pulling back is not enough.
Pulling out can be enough.
You have to have defense.
Why do people think Spence was just a sparring champ when he was basically whooping ass?
Hey man, people want to believe what they want to believe.
They were hoping for Jeff Lacey.
I mean, that's what you do in your heart and your mind. You want.
Please be Jeff Lacey, please.
Or see, it wasn't so much they wanted to be Jeff Lacey; they wanted to be right.
The hype job.
No, they wanted to be right.
Of course.
Yeah. They wanted to say, "I told you so." That's what they wanted.
The whole social media thing. Talk to us about the social media thing for 1 second.
Man, I think I'm getting out of social media, man. It's just too much, man. You know what I'm saying? You get tired of hearing people. Like I said, I have friends who play professional sports.
Yeah.
I would never talk to them about professional sports. I know comedians, like big time comedians. Hey man, let me tell you a joke you should go out and tell. No, listen to me. Now listen to me. Let me give you this joke. I think it'll be funny if you use on it.
Come on.
You see how stupid that sounds? I'm gonna kill you, but that's what they're doing when they tell that a boxer can do this or a fighter can do that. That's exactly what they're saying.
Totally, absolutely.
So when you say these things, they don't look at it like that. They don't think about it like that, but that's what they're saying. I mean, hey, listen, man, I don't speak Spanish, but I'm gonna go teach a college Spanish class today. Or I'm gonna go do some biology with these pre-med, doctors and tell them, well, no, you can't do that. So put it like this is what I do. I'm gonna finish on this. America played football.
Yes.
Most people have touched the basketball.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
But everybody has an idea of what that guy should be doing in the ring. I think that we have to stay in our lane. If being a fan is appreciate everything and love everything about the sport you should love so much.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that, man. Because you're not thinking. I know you want to go put some boxing gloves on and hit the bag. You think you can tell some people what to do. It's not like that though. You can punch in the mouth. Have to be able to think through that. Depending on the level of experience these guys have, he may be setting you up for another. See, it's like playing chess or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And they don't get it, but it's okay, man. You know, it's all right.
Thurman, break down Thurman versus Spence. How do you see that fight? How would that fight go, in your opinion, or how you see it?
I don't know. I couldn't break it down. I couldn't break down Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. I knew Errol Spence was gonna knock him out. He was gonna get him. I didn't know. I mean, I'm not the guy to see. Remember, I live in the moment.
Yes.
You all been listening.
So when it happens, when the fight is signed and sealed,
that's right.
Then you'll go to break it down. But for now, it's not a matter.
Well, really, I just analyze and I tell Errol what he's doing, right. And I prepare him on how to react when he does what he's doing, opposed to,
hypothetics.
Hypothetics, because I go with probables.
Okay. Thurman's never been down. Well, that's a lie, because Thurman has been down before.
Well, I've seen him get beat up before really bad, but I'm not going to talk about that. But really bad.
Now, what do you make of the one-time stuff?
I mean, you got to come up with a name, man. It's a selling point. It's all about, it's a selling point, man,
People saying that Errol doesn't need a tune-up fight because he just can go into world class and keep fighting world class.
I mean, I just told you about the whole, I'm going to tell my friends, my buddies who are comedians, some jokes. That's what they're doing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Put like this, I'm not his management. I'm not part of that.
Prince O'Mill from Zamuda says, did Kell Brook propose to Errol in the 11th round?
You know what? That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. About the pictures, you're like, yeah, okay,
yeah. Brook was a class fighter, but fighting Golovkin was a mistake.
Had nothing to do with last night.
Kell Brook had chocolate brownies dripping down his leg.
That might be true.
Congratulations, bro. Man down.
Thank you.
Brook outboxed Spence for 6 rounds, though, so I can't call Spence great.
Outboxed him. He didn't outbox me. Still right in front of him.
Brook was never special. Any fighter that could take his shots early and make him fight at a pace he's uncomfortable with can break him down.
That might be. I think that might be. Might be Carson Jones. In the first fight, what happened in the second fight?
Yeah, it's Carson Jones. Still put pressure on him.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be coming to the end. We're closing off now. Let's see if there's anybody else. Let's see. I've got a lot of respect for Derrick James, fantastic trainer.
But what is
it? Spence fighting Colazzo next. Oh dear. Colazzo, lose Colazzo.
I don't know about that, man. I'm not in that.
Of course.
I don't see past where I am.
What instructions were telling Errol after round 6? I think we went through that and said that basically close him down, go after him.
Listen, man, pick up the pace. You're breaking him down. Stay behind the jab. Just walk him down. Like literally go get him. Walk him down. Hands up and walk him down.
Are you still working with Rob Brown? I think you mentioned that you are. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Boxing today. When will we be seeing Derrick James versus Dominic Ingle on pay-per-view?
It doesn't stimulate me. It doesn't move me. So I'm not a fighter anymore. I'm a fighter always, but you fight people who fought before or who can. Like it's not serious. It's like beating up somebody who never had a fight before. What is that about? Oh, that is what they're talking about. Beating up a guy who never had a fight before. No, I'm paint a picture for you like an artist, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a father who's in one of the top boxing gyms in your country,
yes,
and he's a superstar,
right,
trains champions, you would think that his son would grow up to be a fighter too, and somewhat. They're like, damn, son, you don't want to box? You sure? Like, no, I don't want to box. So think about that. How did that father feel? I have two sons. I didn't want my son to box, though.
Right.
Because I was like, I want you to be your own guy. I want you to be. You don't have to do what I do to appease me. I want you to find the love that you like to do, right?
Yeah.
So this guy never boxed before and doubles back and starts training fighters.
Dominic, we're talking.
Are we?
Yeah.
I think so. So I'm saying, I mean, it was like.
Is this to be continued with Dominic Ingle, or do you that's it?
It's done, man. Listen, man. It's not, you talking about. I'm not talking about it. You said it. I'm answering the question because it
was entertaining. People found it entertaining. Let's be honest.
This statement was made. Just like the fight we had before this one, there was a lot of rubbish, a lot of talk. The statement was made. And at this fight right there, the statement was made. There's nothing to say. I mean, to talk about something that has no more meaning. Man may not ever fight again.
Man down. Strap season.
Well, I'm saying that Kell Brook may not ever box again.
Wow.
If you keep getting he didn't get the same injury, it was on the other eye.
People thought it was the same eye.
But it's not. Because remember, Triple G got the right eye, Errol got the left eye. Not the same eye.
Interesting.
So I think he should retire. I mean, those ribs, do you remember they teased me about this, which it wasn't me, it was the other guy who was with us who was saying, make the weight. But at the original press conference, I said those ribs, jaw, I mean, he's gonna go after that stuff. And he went after that stuff. He went after those ribs, went after those body shots. But I think he probably should retire, man. There's no, what do you want to keep getting beat up like that for?
Is it true that Errol Spence started boxing at 15?
Yeah.
Has Errol Spence ever sparred Maurice Hooker? If so, how did it go?
I mean, it was pretty decent, you know. You know, I'm not gonna give y'all nothing because I'm not gonna get into that. I got in trouble about that. The whole Charles Hadley thing, they all was upset about that, but then he did come out and say what happened. So,
okay, so okay, right.
But they fought several times. They fought 4 times before though. Errol beat him on 4 times.
It goes Hayes' toe, DeGale's teeth, Brook's other eye. These UK fighters fall apart like Humpty Dumpty, injury prone.
Something in the water, man. But you know what I saw this morning, man? I took a picture with him too. Little Carl Frampton, right?
Yes.
He's a hell of a fighter, man.
He's a good fighter.
Golly, man. I was like, it's Carl Frampton. Like, hey, what's up, little man? Yeah, man. I told him I said you're a good fighter, man.
He's a good fighter.
I don't like because I look for skills and technique.
Yeah.
And a lot of boxers don't have that. They have natural talent and ability.
Mm-hmm.
I say skills and technique.
Yeah.
Natural talent and ability. So Kell Brook is a natural talent and ability fighter with a little bit of skills in it. Because over time, you don't necessarily get great skills, but to be able to do what you do and be effective over time is skillful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's what Kell Brook was. And listen, he did some good stuff in there, man. He did some really good stuff in there too. So a lot of fighters have natural talent.
Okay.
Ability,
right.
Instead of skills and technique.
Final question. Do you think Errol's going to improve on his head movement? This is something he's asking here.
Man, we got to talk about, man. Look, was he getting hit that much? Did you see his face after the fight? Damn, he had like those rough marks from being, laced and he didn't have He didn't have it wasn't swollen.
No.
You fight 11 rounds with a big, strong puncher, don't have a swollen eye at all.
Something in it.
So head movement, was that a problem? Who was that said that?
I'll tell you who it is. I'll pull it up for you.
Damn.
I'll tell you who it is. David Xavier. Do you feel Errol can work on his head movement?
Well, do you feel he wanted to? Look, I saw his face after the fight. It was not swollen. It was
That's what I think. That's what I thought. I couldn't believe you asked the question. Oh, there you go. Okay, right. We're going to end this now. We're going to shut this down now. Do you think? Well, we're not even talking about Thurman. I want to see. Right. Anything else you'd like to say? You know, before we close this off now, do you have a message to the UK fans or?
Well, really, the people are great.
Yeah.
People are great. They've been great boxing fans. They know what to talk about. This is my first time meeting England. We talked several times, so it's been beautiful, man.
We appreciate you, man.
We talked, you know what I'm saying, extends for a pretty good while. You gotta spell his name right. Errol. But your name Dre. Errol. I got you. That probably was a typo. Let me see. How close is the eye to the okay, real close. Okay. All right. I got you. Still capital.
Shout out from Bulgaria.
Who?
Oh, Spence just needs to incorporate maybe a little bit more waist movement. Was a limbo answer. No, waist movement.
I know. But what he means is
all this. Yeah.
For what? You not said the punch, man. You not said he said the punch at all times. I'm not gonna get into it. Listen, I'm not gonna.
No, I mean not getting punched with straight punches like he was catching.
So what I said, if you think about this, this is what my mother would always say, and I said it is that if you see people arguing and you're standing across the street, you will know who the fool was. So I'm not gonna get in a conversation like that. It's not worth my time.
Can Derrick grow an afro?
No. Up under here, probably.
Right, we're shutting this down now.
Right.
Thank you all so much for watching BWTM.
Blue star in boxing. Yes, I like that. I'm sorry for cutting.
That's all right. It's not an argument. I like Spence. Right, we're shutting this down. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much, Derrick, for your time.
Thank you,
And
man.
man down, strap season. This has been BWTM Sports.
Well, strap season is not really over, but strap season is kind of like, what do you call it? Because we got the strap.
You've got strap. You've got another strap coming, haven't you?
We need 3 straps. You see, you got to put that up there so they can see the WBC ring. Let's see that.
Oh wow! Look at that.
That's the Jamil Charlo.
Beautiful.
We're waiting for the Errol Spence jump though.
Wow. Okay, people, we're out here. Take care.
Oh, goddamn.